Hey folks, it's Laura with Rain Tree Nursery. And today I want to share with you the construction of a trellis, a quick and easy trellis that will allow you to plant two different kinds of vines that like two different kinds of sun exposure. I've been thinking about this for a while. We built this cute little guest house and it's got a corner that's sunny on the western side, but it's really quite shady on the northern side. And I've been racking my brain trying to come up with a way that I could plant a grape, which likes full sun, and some hardy Colomicta style kiwis that like a fair amount of shade. And how could I do this using the same trellis? I have figured it out and we'll show you how we're doing it. So this job is pretty simple. We basically only need three types of components. We need some 4x4 pressure treated posts. We need some 4-inch grid utility panels. I love those things. And we need some 2x6 for support. So we've measured that out. It's going to wrap around this side of the structure. And now I need to dig some holes. So the next order of business is to set the posts. Each of these individual posts is going to have to be measured and cut separately because there is a slope along this grade. We're putting it right in like that. And that's a perfect fit because I want the top of the trellis to be level with this bottom row of shingles. All right, now we're going to set these posts and we'll be right back. So we're using a really nice low-tech way to make sure that we get the top of the posts all the same height, even though we're working on uneven terrain. We set the first post, and then we take an extra long screw, a little piece of scrap 2x4. We've got our level and our trusty pen. We screw that piece of 2x4 in at the very top, and we use that as a guide, put the level on it. Once this is level, we know that this is where we can mark it, and it's going to be exactly the right height. And now we're installing the 2x6 rail that will hold all of these posts in place. The rigidity of the panel itself makes it so that we don't have to add any cross bracing. All right, here we are. We've got our uprights, we've got our rails. The rails not only hold the uprights in place, but they'll also keep the utility panels from sagging. This matches the character of the building. Oh, it's looking so nice. So the last thing that we're going to be doing is putting the grid on top. Our final step in the construction is to install these fence staples from the top down, and that is what's going to hold the trellis to the top of the wood. So here we have the pot with the grape planted in it. I had a little bit of extra grid work, so I'm using that as a support. If you don't have any extra grid, you can certainly just run strings from the bottom to the top, and the grape will happily climb that. We've got our male Colomicta kiwi, which will be running on the shady side of the trellis. We've got the grape on the sunny side of the trellis, and there will be one more pot that will include the female Colomicta kiwi. I don't plant them in the same pot, so I can tell exactly who is who, because it's important to keep all three of these friends pruned, and having two separate pots will make it much easier to tell who is who. And it's finished! About 3 hours in time, about $400 in materials. From start to finish, going to the hardware store to being done, this can only take you one afternoon. It's utilitarian, it's strong. You could put up fancy lights, you could hang some baskets on it until it gets full of grapes. What a treat. Thanks for joining us. It's Laura with Rain Tree Nursery and my new arbor.